Hi everybody, welcome to Spirit Mail, episode 7 of Daily Mail. You didn't get one yesterday. I will not be putting the Daily Mail videos out on Sunday. Okay, so today I want to talk about taking our thoughts captive. And the reason I want to talk about that today, it's not a question that I got in any of the comments or anything, but when I did the retrograde reading, under health and wellness, it seemed to be a common theme. And I want to expand on that because during the readings, I'm trying to I'm obviously giving the messages and trying to walk through this in a timely manner so that I don't bore you or lose your attention or anything like that. So as far as this taking our thoughts captive, I want to explain why that's so important and how it affects our health and wellness. And whenever I'm talking about health and wellness, I'm talking about mental health, emotional health, and physical health, okay? Or mind, body, and spirit. So whenever we allow thoughts, whenever we're going about our day or whatever, and we start letting these thoughts creep into our mind, and we start dwelling on them, right? They tend to germinate in our brain, and then they seep into our heart. And then our heart, because our mind and our brain's two different things. So they seep around in our thoughts, and they permeate into our mind and then seep into our heart. But the heart is not just a pump that pumps the blood. The heart is intelligent also. And so the heart feels the emotion. And based on that emotion, it sends a signal to the brain, which then releases chemicals out into our body. So the chemicals released into our body are determined by the signal that is received from the heart. So if it's anything like stress, any stressful type emotion, any stressful type feeling that we're allowing to sit in our heart. If it is fear, doubt, resentment, anger, feelings of unworthiness, unforgiveness, just things like that, holding on to thoughts or feelings like that, allowing those feelings to come into our heart and stay there. Our heart then sends a signal to our brain that we are not safe. So then our brain, the good little pharmacist in there that is very obedient, releases the chemicals into our body to help get us to safety. So those chemicals are stress hormones or stress chemicals. Among them is cortisol, and they are sent straight to our extremities because our extremities is what helps us get away from the danger or fight the danger back to save us, to keep us safe. So that was a brilliant part of our makeup, a brilliant part of our blueprint a long time ago whenever we were cavemen and we had to run away from predators or things like that. Even today, it's a brilliant part of our makeup because if a kid gets trapped under a car, a woman can pick the car up. Because of that particular setup, the way that it is, she can go pick that car up and get that child safe, right? We've seen stories like that, miraculous things like that happen, and that's why, because that heart sends that message to the brain, to the pharmacist in the brain that says, I need this now, and this, like, all that adrenaline, all that stress, that cortisol, all that stuff is released, and you have that superpower. Okay, so whenever that happens, whenever we're constantly dwelling in those thoughts, we constantly allow those thoughts to live in our mind, then our little pharmacist is constantly sending out those chemicals into our body. This isn't, Cheryl made this up. This is very scientific. It's research done by HeartMath Institute. You can Google it. So I don't know if they actually did that research, but anyway, they'll explain it in more depth if you're interested. So whenever we take our thoughts captive and we say, this thought is not beneficial to me, because every thought, every word either brings us toward what we're going to or backs us away from it. Every thought, every word either brings us towards something or backs us away from it. So if you are trying to achieve something in your life, right, and one doesn't have anything to do with the other. Say you're wanting to develop a good, healthy relationship with a soulmate or whatever. You're wanting to go there, but you allow yourself to constantly get caught up in negative thoughts, unhealthy thoughts, or anything like that that would cause this little pharmacist to release the stress hormones. Then your body is not being nourished the way your core is not being nourished the way that your body was designed to nourish it. So you're not sleeping, then you don't sleep good. You have illnesses like indigestion, diabetes, all kinds of stuff like that, because your nutrients aren't going to your organs. So whenever that happens, your physical body starts to break down. Your immune system breaks down. So whenever we take our thoughts captive, and we don't, I said I was going to do a segment on positive thinking, and I may have should have done it before this one, but we don't want to lie to ourselves, right? If we're having a bad day, we want to be able to say, you know what, it's a bad day, it sucks. But we don't want to dwell there. We can say it's a bad day, it sucks, but then we also say, you know what, do I want that thought to creep into my heart to release more stress hormones into my body? No, I don't. So let me think, what can I think about? What makes that thought feel better? Well, you know, today sucked, but yesterday wasn't so bad, and tomorrow's a new day. Today sucked, but at least blah, 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 this happened. Today sucked, but I know it's going to get better, or whatever can be better feeling, but also that you believe. Because if we try to take a negative situation and pile a positive lie on top of it, our mind says, can't trust you, right? So we argue with ourselves, which causes us more stress. So find a better feeling thought. Replace it with a better feeling thought, even if it has to be a better feeling thought about something that's not even related. We are disciplined enough to be able to do that. Whenever I say take our thoughts captive, I mean decide, am I going to let this thought move me backwards, or am I going to focus on something else and allow myself to move forward? Because most of the things that we worry about and that we dwell on, there's nothing we can do about it. It's either done or over, or it's out of our control. Either way, it's not beneficial for us to be there. So to find a better feeling thought is the answer, because when you find a better feeling thought, your heart feels the emotion of compassion, of care, of love, and things like that. And it sends a signal to the little pharmacist in the brain that says, everything's cool. So the little pharmacist in the brain says, good, we're going to maintain, we're going to nurture, we're going to send the good chemicals that continue to maintain the core of this body, right? So whenever the core is maintained in that way, we can then think clearer, because we can sleep better, and because our body feels better, because it's in homeostasis. It adjusts, right? It adjusts our chemical makeup. So the thought is, whenever I say take your thoughts captive, there's a couple different reasons for this. It's not just a scientific thing, it's a spiritual thing. Because in the Bible, and I have a Christian background, so that's what I refer to, in the Bible it says that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, right? So whenever we find ourselves talking negative or doubt-filled talk, lack-filled talk, all that kind of talk, that's what's living in our heart. So that's a good time for us to stop and take a look at ourselves and say, why am I feeling this way? Why is that there? We don't want to repress our emotions. We want to acknowledge them, but we want to look at it and say, why are you there? Or your feelings. You don't want to repress your feelings, but you want to say, why are you there? Why am I feeling that way about this day? It's been rainy out here all day long, drizzling, nasty, rainy. And so I can look at the outside and get, talk about all the negative things about the rain. Or I can say, you know what? The flowers are getting watered, the grass is getting watered, the trees getting watered. That there's a reason for the rain, and I know that, and I'm not so selfish that I can't let rain happen. We have to decide, what are we going to focus on? Because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, and our words, as well as our thoughts and our feelings, create our surroundings. But those emotions and those feelings are indicators for us to kind of check in with ourselves and see, where are we at? I'm not saying go be Pollyanna, everything's unicorn and rainbows. Face reality, absolutely. But do it in a way that's beneficial to you in the process. Yes, it's rained all day, but guess what? The grass is getting watered. The farmers are going to be able to do whatever they do. I'm not a farmer, so I don't know what they do, but so yeah, take our thoughts captive. It's very important. There's another scripture. It's Proverbs 4:23, and it kind of says the same thing. It says, guard your heart with all diligence, because out of it are the issues of life. In other words, the things that we allow to dwell in our heart is what we see in our reality. We hear it all the time that our reality, our outside world, is a reflection of our inside world. That's true. So whenever I get these mental, think about what you're thinking about in health and wellness, and quite a few of those retrograde readings, I know that the collective, we're struggling with that. And especially during a retrograde, we would struggle with that because things get wonky. So we would have a tendency to say, everything's going wrong. Everything's breaking down. Everything's falling apart. I can't seem to get anything to work right, blah, 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 all that stuff. It's not the universe picking on you, anything like that. Oh, Mercury's in retrograde. I'm so glad Mercury even resets itself. Yeah, this is a pain in the butt, but at least Mercury's getting reset, or whatever, whatever that better feeling thought is. It's not anything personal against us. It's just part of how the universe works. So, but in addition to that, whenever we pull those negative energies and thoughts and let them sit there, it interrupts our spiritual life and our spiritual growth too. Because whenever we are bogged down with those kind of thoughts, and we're so bogged down with them that our pharmacist is constantly sending the energies or the chemicals and the hormones to the extremities instead of to our core, well, then we are focused on, why am I feeling bad? Why am I not sleeping? One thing, it's like momentum happens, and one bad thing piles on top of another bad thing, right? And it's like, I just can't catch a break. And when we're worried about all these things, we can't hear spirit. When our mind is focused on the day-to-day things in our circumstance, in our environment, we can't hear spirit. We can't feel spirit. We can't see what spirit's trying to let us see, because all that other stuff has our attention. It's like putting on a blindfold. It's like backing up into a cave, and spirit can't reach us, because spirit never turns their back on us. But we allow ourselves to get in a position where we cut ourselves off from spirit by the thoughts that we allow to germinate in our brain that end up permeating into our heart. So I hope I explained that well, because your thoughts affect your physical and your spiritual health in big ways. So think about what we're thinking about, and always try to find a better feeling thought. And you know what? There's that prayer, whether you're Christian or not Christian, or it doesn't matter. God grant me the serenity. God grant me the wisdom to change the things I can, or grant me the strength to change. I don't know the prayer. God grant me the strength to change the things I can, and to let go of what I can't change, and the wisdom to know the difference. It's a good prayer, it's not one I pray, obviously, because I don't know it, but it's the serenity prayer. So whatever that prayer is, or something similar along those lines, think about what we're thinking about, and then love ourselves enough to keep our hearts open to be able to receive the messages that our guides, our angels, our archangels, the Holy Spirit, that God, whoever it is that you pray to, or whoever it is that you work with, that they would have the opportunity to get in there and walk you through whatever it is you're attempting to walk through or walk toward in life. Okay, so now we're going to do a little PS. God, guides, angels, archangels, Holy Spirit, I thank you so much for creating our body in a way that it speaks to us and that it really does help us understand what's going on. Thank you for giving us a system that signals us when things aren't going right, so that we can make the adjustment, make the correction, whatever that is that we need to do. And we thank you so much for clear and concise messages. We thank you for the PS. And show us the PS for Daily Mail, episode 7. Okay, so everything is about choice. This person has a ball. She has a ball in her hand. It's like the world or a crystal ball or whatever. And she's got to decide, what is she going to allow herself to focus on? How is she going to move forward in life, right? How is she going to move forward in her life? Where's she going to let her focus lay? Because wherever your focus is at, that's what's going to show up in your outer world. Really and truly. And there's so many evidences of that. Look, we are the creators of what goes on in our life. Our thoughts, our words, the vibration that we offer off. Our heart permeates an electromagnetic field outside of us, at least 3 feet or 5 feet away. So or further than that. I don't know the measurements. I just know it's out there. And people can feel, they can see your face smiling, but they can feel the energy. They know what's in your heart. They may not know they know, but I know you have walked into a room and said, man, the air's thick in there, or something like that. Whenever people come to my house, they're like, oh man, the energy's so light in here. The people who lived here before must really have been sweet, loving people, all that stuff. So everything that we do reflects into our reality. This is tangible stuff. It happens in our reality, and it starts with us. It's what we allow ourselves to think about. So take your thoughts captive. Think about what you're thinking about. Look at that. So this is the universe. They're saying this message is to give you a new truth, a new way to understand what truth is in your life, a new way to understand why things aren't going the way you want them to go, possibly, or us, not just you, us, why things aren't going the way that we want them to go. It's about being able to communicate in a fruitful way, in a victorious way, not just with spirit, because we can't talk to spirit during prayer time and then go out the rest of the day and be angry at the world. We just can't do that, because what we do all day long is still communicating with spirit. It's still a creative power. Okay, so that's Daily Mail, episode 7. And I don't know what I'm going to title it yet, but if you haven't checked out Daily Mail 6, there's a game at the end. I'm giving away a free reading, so go check it out and play the game. And until next time, y'all go out and have a super day. Bye.